We are live. Folks, what is going on? Here we are. It is January 30th, 2024. And I am just compelled to go live and ask, and I'll just put this out there, and I might ask again when I see more people sign in. What, if you work in the internet, if you design anything on the internet, what in the world are you trying to reinvent? This is a real question. What are you trying to reinvent? What vision do you have that's like, oh no, this won't do. I need to rebuild it this way. Because I'm just getting blown away. I don't know what's going on over the last 3 weeks, 6 weeks, maybe. It seems like no matter what platform is proposed, maybe it's Buddy Boss, maybe it's Lifter LMS, maybe it's LearnDash, maybe it's gosh, help me here. I'm trying to go. The new Fluent stuff, right? The Fluent booking. Folks, it seems like no matter what you plug in and add to a project, somebody in the room is going, well, how can we style that up and make it unique? Unique. What is that? So then I say, well, what do you want to change? What specifically do you want to change? No one seems to have that answer. They just want to know that they can. Like, I don't get it. So let's say you're working with dynamic content. And so for those of you that are new to the internet or new to how websites work, there's static content and there's dynamic content. So let's say you're building a WooCommerce website and you have a shopping cart and products and things like that. Well, you don't really have to build a new page for each product or a new page for each customer and a new page for each transaction. No, what happens is the website creates a page for products, and then dynamically the software loads sections of that page in with the product that is selected from the database. It pulls a query, and that query goes to the database, pulls those items, and fills in those sections. Just like, when you go to a customer profile page, the page is there and it's, got fields in it. And when the customer goes to see their profile, the database fills in their details on that page. But someone else that wants to see their profile will see the same exact page, but with different information filled in those fields. That's what makes a product dynamic. Okay, so let me jump forward in this conversation. When you have websites, projects that are dynamic, that means you have, like I just said, you have assets that are coming from another source to go into a templated area. So think in those terms, okay? What I can't figure out is, lately, it seems like there's a very high percentage of people, and these aren't even my customers. These are people that just ask me free questions. And so maybe that's why I'm getting a little blown out here, because it's like, you haven't bought anything, but you sure are making a lot of demands. So I want this to be blue instead of red. Okay, well, here's the tool to make it blue. Yeah, but I wanted the text to be bigger instead of smaller. Well, it adopts the traits of your theme. So if you have a theme in your website, the styling comes from your theme. Okay, so I want to change the layout of how the information is provided. Why? I ask this question, and I beg people, I beg someone to come on here and answer the question. Put a comment in and answer the question. Why? These platforms, and again, doesn't matter. LearnDash, Lifter, Buddy Boss, Buddy Press, fluent support, fluent CRM, fluent fluent booking. Um, Give me any of these things. The event calendar, okay? The event calendar, same thing. Um, the people that develop these, they have developed these for like an ubiquitous use over many creators. Um, and so there's a reason, right? And then you think about what has to work. So a checkout page is generally going to have, name, address, email, phone number, shipping address is different than billing address, maybe. And then over here is probably going to be, quantity, credit card, promotional code if there is one, agree to terms and service, submit order. So that's typically how that's going to go. So when you open up that page and it works in your website, the first response should be, well, this is cool. This works. It shouldn't be, oh my gosh, I wish it was lavender with purple this and purple that, and the text was bigger here and text was smaller here. I've had a ton of customers lately ask me, well, how can I have a disclaimer page pop up? And how can I say I'm not responsible for this and not responsible for that, and that there's no returns and that I'm like, you are, but I don't want the customer to see it. Like every yellow flag that could have possibly have gone up in that series of questions is up. Like, so you're asking me to develop you a website or an interface that gives the customer no purchasing rights, no ability for recourse, and you just want to make a bunch of money. I am not your web developer. Like, I'm not doing that project. Not happening. But it's really prevalent right now. Really high percentage of people asking for weird things. Now, the people that are asking for the weird things, if we were to take a look at that, I would say, well, how many years of instructional design experience do you have? Do you have a degree in design? Do you have a portfolio of work? Do you have? No, they don't. They're sitting at home with no customers, no revenue, no product ever published. They have no taste of success in this field, but they're sitting there and they're going, this is unacceptable. It needs to do this, 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 and this. I have an idea for you. Instead of trying to reinvent or rework everything, push it out there. Just push it out there. Whatever your product is, whatever your course is, whatever the product is you're selling, just push it out there. See how it does. Do a proof of concept. And then when people make a purchase, follow up with them and say, how was your purchase experience? Did you find the value for the product to match what was promised? Was the purchase experience good? Were you able to navigate the website and the shopping cart? Were you able to this? Were you able to that? And if everything's positive, why do you think you have to reinvent the whole thing? Now, I'm going to get right to it. If you want to reinvent all of these things, you can. You can. But these aren't things that, like, WooCommerce isn't going to say, oh, well, here, let me spend 4 hours with you to help you personally redesign the dynamic content that we've created for hundreds of thousands of people. Let's spend a few hours with you dedicated to customize this for your use case when you have no history of success, no paying customers, and no product launched yet. Like, you have to put things into the proper perspective. So please, slow down. Take my advice. I mean, I literally have a client that's not a client. Like, it's a support customer that has not bought anything yet, right? But is like, hey, I took a look at the free sample. I wanted to change this, this, and this. Okay, here you go. Here's the directions how to do that. Well, I wasn't happy with how that changed. I want to change it a different way. Well, then change it a different way. Use CSS, do some custom coding. Well, I didn't want to do custom coding. Well, of course not. You want the easy button, but there's not an easy button for that, because here's the deal. When you are a plugin company and you are designing these tools to be used on hundreds of thousands of websites, there's going to be some conditions of commonality. There's going to be things that have to make sense. And so that's what's going to get published as the product. Now, WordPress is awesome because it's open source. And I just interviewed Matt Mullenweg last week. He'll tell you it's open source. Have at it, tear it apart, fork the code, do whatever you want with it. It's yours. You own it. You downloaded it. It's yours. Do whatever you want with it. But did you hear all of the yous in those sentences? That's you. You do whatever you want with it. You want to add custom code, add custom code. You want to get into CSS and style things up and change things, go ahead and do that. If you can't do it yourself, hire a third-party developer. Codable's a great source, right? Or go to any one of these plugin developers and ask them for a list of their vetted experts, where someone could say, oh yeah, I'm really familiar with that code. Yeah, we can absolutely do this, this, and this. But you're not going to get people working for that platform to just redesign your instance of it for your specific use case. That's just not a foreseeable outcome. So I go back to the question, why? Why? And I'm asking this more and more and more now. So here we are, 12 minutes into my rant. Why are you trying to reinvent everything and not just pushing your product out? Do that proof of concept. See if anybody wants to take your class on basket weaving before you try to customize the checkout page. See if somebody really cares about the ketogenic diet right now and the way that you're trying to sell that before you spend $5,000 custom designing some interface. Just use the products. The products work. The more you change them, the more you modify things, the more you try to tweak everything, the more open you are to breaking a process or breaking an automation in the background. Just push it out there and see if your product holds well on its own. If your product holds well on its own and you believe you can increase your conversions by taking these forms out of your registration form, taking these fields out of your registration form, great, great. Experiment with that if you like. But just use the platform, push your product out there, see if you can make some sales before you go crazy and beat yourself up and the rest of the world up trying to figure out how you're trying to reinvent everything without even knowing why you're trying to reinvent it. The idea that an agency would approach a plugin company and say, well, I'm trying to propose this to multiple clients and I want to do this, this, and this. Great. Do that. Propose it, offer it. And then they go, no, but you need to make this work for me. No, that's the part that doesn't work. These plugin companies aren't going to custom make separate interfaces for you as an agency to go make money selling it to somebody else as a service. That's what being the agency is all about. That's why I own a full service agency. And if someone were to come to me as an agency and say, well, I want this to be lavender and purple and surrounded in a black surround that looks like a mirror that does, okay, great. Looks like we're going to spend about $12,000. We'll have that ready for you in about 2.5, 3 months. And we'll go from there. Like that's how business happens. So again, when you see something, when you're building something on the internet as a freelancer, as a creator, as a whatever, just fill in the blanks. Use the product. Get familiar with the product you're trying to be critical of before you get critical of it. So many people have no idea the depth of the function of how something works. I'll give you a perfect example. It's not even WordPress related. I use a platform called SweetDash to run my business. And it does invoicing and tracks my time and project management. It has a CRM and an LMS, and it's got all these things. Folks, I'm lucky if I know 15 or 20% of what that platform does. So the last thing I'm going to do is jump online or email Learn SweetDash and say, hey, I got a real problem with these interactive user forms. I don't understand how people are supposed to schedule appointments and these automations and this. I need this to be different. No, I don't need it to be different. I need to learn how to use it. Become the expert. Become familiar with the platform you're being critical of before you become critical of it. So many people are coming to me right now with zero experience, zero success rate, zero anything, and coming to me and saying, I don't like this. This needs to change. That needs to change. That. And I don't know where it's coming from, because a year ago it was, oh my God, I plugged it in and it worked and it's so amazing. So I don't know what happened between last year and this year, but I just want to re-encourage you. And I see people signing into this live and seeing the rant, and they probably think I'm crazy, but I just want to encourage you to stop giving yourself these detours, or should I call them excuses, to not publish your MVP, your minimal viable product. If you've got a digital product and you think the checkout page is what's keeping you from selling it, you've got the wrong product. You've got the wrong marketing. You've got the wrong offer. You've got the wrong message. Something's wrong with your product, not the platform it's on. I don't care if the platform is Kajabi, Udemy, LearnDash, Lifter LMS. Like, if you're in this whole online course craze and you're like, I got a course, I need to sell it. Great. Make the course, sell the course. And then after you become familiar with the platform you're on and you want to make a tweak to something, investigate how to do that and execute, make that happen. Folks, that's it. That's all I got for you today. Have yourself a wonderful, wonderful day. And with that, I'm going to hit you with my thanks for watching.